this fightable? I have R and 5.
I am Jacob Vita, also known as Beast Fridge. I am a varsity League of Legends player here at NIU. I've been exercising for about 3 to 4 years. In my senior year of high school, my current roommate, who was my friend in high school at the time, got me into weightlifting. I first got involved in esports at around 2016 when Overwatch came out. I was obsessed with playing it on PS4, so much so that I got a PC just so I could play on the high school team there. I got into League of Legends because of my roommate's older brother who played League of Legends, and he got me into it by convincing me that there was a JoJo's character in the game, which is when Set released, and his voice actor was Dio's voice actor. And to this day, Set is my favorite character. And I've always loved competing, so getting into the esports aspect of it was just natural.
They're not showing you. Oh, Diana's over here. Thank you. You don't want to.
I don't think gaming's unhealthy. Definitely mentally, it's good for you. It's a good way to relieve stress. It's a good way to connect with friends, connect with even family members that are far away. I think you do need to have a good balance of exercise as well. You can't just sit at the chair for 24 hours a day, but it's the same with anything, right? You shouldn't study for 24 hours a day. Yeah, definitely moderation. I think there's some physicality in esports that's not really visible to a lot of people, but your brain works really hard to provide energy for all the thinking you have to do. It burns a lot of calories to the point where pro teams have personal chefs to make sure they get their calories needed or they'll underperform. And I've noticed this too when I used to cut a lot of calories, is I had a hard time just thinking straight. So there's definitely a physicality there. Like, it may not be like on your body, but in your mind, it's definitely physical. Improvement in weightlifting is, it's a lot easier to see than improvement in game because there's like physical benchmarks, right? I benched more than I did last week, or I look a lot better than I did last week. Whereas in gaming, it's kind of hard to see, especially since when a lot of the times your performance can be affected by a lot of things, like your mental state, and how you're performing is kind of on and off day by day. And I think the hardest thing for a gamer to do is stay consistent. And if you are consistently playing at a good level, that is a good sign you're doing something right, and maintaining the consistency is the key. My jersey brings back a lot of good memories. Last year's roster was like one of the most fun rosters I've been on. I made a lot of good friends. I still talk to pretty much everyone on that roster. It was just a fun group to be around. So whenever I see this jersey, it just reminds me of, like running through the streets of Cleveland, Ohio in the rain and all the other fun shenanigans that happened at LAN. I definitely represent my parents when I compete. They've always supported me. It was always unorthodox for them to have a son who's like into gaming as much as he was, especially since I did baseball like 9 years of my life. But they were really supportive. They got me my first PC. They would always, they wouldn't question it if I wanted to just like stay in and game instead of go out and play. But now they're always bragging about how I get scholarships for playing video games, especially to my cousins, and I always end up getting asked questions about it at reunions. Definitely for them, for sure.